Truck engines should be tough, but some are total disasters. We're breaking down the 15 worst ever made. Engines so bad they've bankrupted owners and ruined brands. Some are still sold today, and the number one is so infamous, shops made a business out of fixing it. Stay tuned till the end to avoid these costly mistakes. Starting at number 15, we have the GMC 5.7-liter diesel V8, available from 1978 to 1981, also known as the Oldsmobile LF9. It is often referred to as one of the worst diesel engines ever made. Rushed to market during the fuel crisis, it was essentially a gas engine hastily converted to run on diesel. With only 10 weak head bolts per cylinder head, it couldn't handle diesel compression, leading to blown head gaskets and warped heads. Instead of using forged internals like a proper diesel, GM kept the gas engine's components, causing frequent bottom-end failures under load. Poor fuel filtration added to the disaster, as water-contaminated fuel would destroy the injector pump, an expensive and critical part. The result was catastrophic. Reliability was terrible, consumer confidence in diesel cars plummeted, and GM's reputation took a major hit. Lawsuits followed, and the engine's legacy haunted diesel passenger vehicles in the U.S. for decades. At number 14 is the Chevrolet 350 diesel, produced between 1978 and 1985. It is often considered one of the worst engines ever made. GM converted a gasoline Oldsmobile 350 block into a diesel without reinforcing it for the high compression needs of diesel combustion. This led to serious reliability issues like cracked heads, blown gaskets, and frequent injector pump failures. Performance was underwhelming, producing only about 120 horsepower and 220 pound-feet of torque, making acceleration sluggish and highway driving dangerous. Cold starts were unreliable, and with limited diesel infrastructure in the U.S. at the time, owning one was often a frustrating experience. The rushed design and cost-cutting measures resulted in a flood of consumer complaints and lawsuits. Ultimately, the 350 diesel not only damaged GM's reputation, but also set back public trust in diesel passenger cars in the U.S. for decades. If you're finding this information helpful, don't forget to hit that like button and subscribe. At number 13, we have the Caterpillar C7, produced between 2003 to 2009. It's often seen as one of CAT's biggest misfires. Built to meet early emission standards, it used an EGR system and HEUI injectors, both of which caused constant headaches. Carbon buildup was a major issue, leading to check engine lights, bad fuel economy, and frequent downtime. The HEUI injectors were a known weak spot, failing often due to internal leaks or misfires. Fixing them wasn't cheap either, thanks to CAT's proprietary tech and the need for specialized tools. Performance wasn't anything special either, topping out at 330 horsepower and 860 pound-feet of torque. To top it off, Caterpillar left the on-highway engine game in 2010, making parts and support harder to find. What started as a promising engine quickly turned into a high-maintenance, low-support nightmare. Number 12 is Cummins ISX, introduced in 1998 and sticking around until 2016. The Cummins ISX developed a bad reputation for serious reliability issues, especially in early models. Its EGR system was a constant headache. Clogged coolers and coolant leaks often caused overheating and costly downtime. Though meant to meet emissions rules, it hurt long-term durability. The engine also suffered from camshaft and valve train wear, usually due to poor oil flow or defective parts. This led to misfires, power loss, and even full rebuilds. Add in finicky electronics and sensors that triggered frequent derating, and the ISX quickly became a maintenance burden. Fuel system failures were common too, especially injectors and high-pressure pumps, which sometimes contaminated the engine oil. Combined with turbo and soot issues, the ISX gained a reputation for recurring expensive problems, making it a tough engine to rely on. At number 11 is Ford 3.5-liter EcoBoost Five 6 first generation. When Ford introduced the 3.5-liter EcoBoost in 2011, it promised V8-level performance from a twin-turbo V6, a bold move that grabbed attention. But for many early owners between 2011 to 2014, the engine didn't live up to the hype. The first-gen EcoBoost suffered from major design flaws. Its direct injection system led to heavy carbon buildup on intake valves, which couldn't be cleaned with standard fuel system cleaners and required costly, labor-intensive service. Turbocharger failures were also common, with the twin turbos prone to premature wear and failure. While Ford marketed it as both powerful and reliable, the early 3.5-liter EcoBoost didn't deliver on that promise. Later versions saw major improvements, but the initial models were plagued with problems, an example of innovative tech hitting the market before it was fully ready. For many, the early EcoBoost experience felt like a beta test gone wrong. If you're finding this information helpful, don't forget to hit that like button and subscribe. Coming in at number 10 is Toyota 3.0-liter V63 VZE. Toyota has a strong reputation for building dependable vehicles, but the 3VZ engine is a bit of an oddball. Produced between 1988 and 1995, it managed to be both dependable and frustrating at the same time. With just 150 horsepower, it lacked serious muscle, more sluggish than spirited, towing anything substantial was a struggle, and the head gaskets had a bad habit of failing far too often. That said, if you treated the engine gently and kept up with regular maintenance, it could last a remarkably long time. Many owners managed to push these engines past 300,000 miles without major failures. It wasn't a powerhouse, but its simple layout made it relatively easy and affordable to maintain. Some owners ditched it for something with more punch, while others appreciated its slow and steady reliability. The truck around it was well built, but the 3VZE left many drivers wanting more. Thankfully, Toyota's future engines improved significantly. At number 9 is Chevrolet GMC Atlas 5-cylinder. GM thought it would be smart to build a 5-cylinder engine. The result? A rolling mess. This engine, produced between 2004 and 2012, was known for misfires, bad enough to make your truck feel like it was dancing down the road. The misfires weren't easy to fix either. Swapping spark plugs or coils didn't help much. Fuel injectors often failed, and even worse, valve seats would wear out for no clear reason. When that happened, you were looking at a full cylinder head replacement, an expensive job, especially with a timing chain setup. This problem mostly showed up in the first version of the engine, called the L52. GM later released the LLR version with more power and improvements, but issues like timing chain wear, oil system troubles, and random electrical faults kept popping up. Eventually, GM pulled the plug, but not before this engine gave a lot of owners major headaches. At number 8 is the Chevy 5.3-liter V8 with active fuel management, produced between 2007 to 2014. It looked promising on paper, but in reality, it became a major headache for owners. The AFM system, designed to shut off cylinders to save fuel, led to serious issues, most notably excessive oil consumption, with some engines burning a quart every 1,000 miles. A bigger problem was lifter failure. The AFM-specific lifters were prone to collapsing, causing ticking noises, misfires, and in some cases, complete engine failure. Fixing it meant tearing down the engine's top end, which wasn't cheap or easy. Frustrated owners often turned to AFM delete kits just to keep their trucks running reliably. While GM eventually improved the system in later models, the 2007 to 2014 versions earned a reputation for being unreliable and expensive to maintain, proof that chasing fuel economy with half-baked tech can cost more in the long run. If you're finding this information helpful, don't forget to hit that like button and subscribe. At number 7 is Ford's 2.7-liter EcoBoost, introduced in 2015, and it's been in continuous production since then, with updates along the way. It sounds impressive, but many owners found it was more of an eco-bust. These engines were known for burning oil fast. Some drivers reported losing a quart every 3,000 miles, which is far from normal. Things were even worse for engines built between April 2016 and January 2017. A flaw in the cylinder head valve guides let oil slip into the combustion chamber and burn off, sending oil consumption through the roof. Another issue? The oil pan on 2015 to 2017 models. Ford used plastic and sealed it to the aluminum block with just adhesive. If that glue failed, which it often did, oil leaked out fast. As for the turbochargers, they had a nasty habit of failing without warning, sometimes before 50,000 miles. Some unlucky owners faced full engine replacements almost as soon as they bought the truck. Not exactly built Ford tough. Coming up at number 6 is the Dodge Ram 4.7-liter V8, produced between 1999 to 2013. It gained a reputation for being unreliable, high maintenance, and underwhelming. It was prone to sludge buildup from poor oil flow, even with regular oil changes, which led to clogged passages and engine failure. Timing chain tensioners were another weak spot, often causing major damage when they failed. Overheating was common due to bad coolant circulation and frequent head gasket issues. This often led to warped heads or dropped valve seats, effectively killing the engine. For a V8, performance was mediocre, just okay in bigger trucks and SUVs. Worse yet, the 4.7-liter was a pain to repair. Even basic jobs were time-consuming and costly. A missed oil change or minor coolant problem could destroy the engine, making this one of Dodge's least forgiving and most frustrating V8s. At number 5, we've got the Ram 3.0-liter EcoDiesel V6. Launched in 2014, this engine was marketed as a fuel-efficient option for light-duty trucks, promising good torque, great fuel economy, and a smooth ride. At first, it looked like a solid choice. Good power, great mileage, and a comfortable drive. But as time went on, the problems started stacking up. The biggest issue? Engine failure caused by timing chain problems. The timing chain would stretch or even break. The EGR cooler was another weak spot, and the problem was so bad that it led to multiple recalls. Oil consumption was also a headache. Many drivers noticed the engine burning through oil, even between regular changes. To make matters worse, the EcoDiesel was caught up in emission scandals, adding more fuel to the fire. This made the engine's reputation even worse, especially since it was still in production until 2023. If you're finding this information helpful, don't forget to hit that like button and subscribe. At number 6, we have Nissan 5.0-liter Cummins V8 Triton XD. Despite the reputation of Cummins engines, this one was overcomplicated and unreliable, combining light-duty truck design with heavy-duty diesel components. This led to frequent mechanical issues, including fuel system and turbo failures, making repairs costly. It was produced between 2016 and 2019, and while marketed as a diesel powerhouse, it offered only 310 horsepower and 555 pound-feet of torque, which was underwhelming for a 5.0-liter V8. Its towing capacity was less than full-size HD trucks, while its heavy weight and poor fuel economy made it inefficient compared to lighter options. The engine's failure to compete in the diesel market, coupled with high repair costs and poor sales, led to its discontinuation by 2019. In short, the 5.0-liter Cummins V8 was a costly, underperforming engine that failed to live up to expectations. At number 3, we have Ford 6.4-liter Powerstroke Diesel V8. The engine, produced between 2008 and 2010, made mechanics rich and owners poor. This beast diluted oil faster than a bartender waters down drinks. Your oil would look like chocolate milk before you hit 10,000 miles. Radiators leaked more than a politician's promise. You'd be refilling coolant more often than your gas tank. EGR coolers failed, causing coolant to mix with exhaust gases. Nothing says healthy engine like steam coming from your tailpipe. The diesel particulate filter, DPF, frequently clogged, causing excessive back pressure. Many owners experienced engine stalling or limp mode as a result. The engine used a dual sequential turbo system, but the turbos were prone to breaking down. Well, it wasn't a question of if it would break, but when and how much it would cost. These issues, combined with high maintenance costs, earned the 6.4-liter Powerstroke a terrible reputation. At number 2 is the Ford 6.0-liter Powerstroke, produced between 2003 and 2007, which is infamous for being one of the most unreliable diesel engines ever made. It was so problematic it sparked an entire industry around bulletproofing it just to make it livable. Head gasket failures were common, often caused by weak head studs that stretched or snapped under pressure. The EGR coolers frequently cracked mixing coolant and oil, while injectors failed regularly, leaving cylinders dry and causing major damage. The fuel injector control module was poorly placed, making it prone to heat-related failures. Turbo issues were also constant, with many owners replacing them multiple times. Keeping this engine running meant constant repairs and upgrades. Some owners spent more fixing it than the truck was worth. If reliability matters to you, the 6.0-liter was less of a workhorse and more of a ticking time bomb. Taking the top spot for the worst truck engine is Ford's 5.4-liter 3V Triton V8, produced from 1997 to 2010. This engine was a mess, known for sludge buildup, weak exhaust manifold bolts, and spark plugs that either blew out or broke off when you tried to remove them. The two-piece spark plug design made things even worse, often leaving bits stuck in the head that required a special tool to fix. The timing chain setup was poorly designed too, causing loud rattles and eventual failure. When the timing chain went, it usually meant serious engine damage. The oil pump would also fail, leading to oil starvation and premature wear on the camshafts and other parts. And let's not forget the cam phasers. They failed all the time, causing rough idling, knocking sounds, and poor performance. This engine was so unreliable that mechanics dreaded working on it, leaving owners with big repair bills and a lot of frustration. These are the worst truck engines of all time. Unreliable, expensive to fix, and a total headache. From oil-chugging EcoBoosts to spark plug-launching Tritons, these 15 disasters have drained wallets and tested patience. Buying a used truck? Remember this list. If you found this video helpful, don't forget to like, subscribe, and share your experiences in the comments. See you in the next video.